Hey there, we're Jason and Caroline Zook, a husband and wife team who believes life is just one big experiment.
This is the show where we share our journey as we figure out this ever-changing thing called life. We cover topics like running a business, traveling the world, and clawing our way out of debt, all with the hope of inspiring you to live, work, and create with more intention.
Life might bring its twists and turns, but when you know who you are and what you want, you're never really lost. Welcome to Wandering Aimfully, the show.
Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to a very special short edition, kind of like a bonus episode, if you will. Maybe a bonus episode.
Maybe a bonus episode.
From our brand new studio. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, if you are just listening on a podcast, maybe it sounds a little bit different.
Maybe a little bit better.
Hopefully a little bit better. I really hope it sounds better. I think it will. But it should look very different. So if you want to meander over to YouTube and take a look, we are now in the
WAYYY.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the WAYYY.
Welcome to the WAYYY.
What is the WAYYY?
That's what we need to title this bonus episode. Welcome to the WAYYY.
Welcome to the WAYYY?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the question?
What is the WAYYY?
The WAYYY is a very famous recording studio where the Beatles have recorded here, actually.
Their
podcast.
But the Beatles, like the animal, like
yes,
the small animal.
There's a podcast.
Not the British
just
successful
based
band.
on No.
The
Not
animal, the insect.
Not the very popular band.
Right, okay.
No, the WAYYY is frankly the guest room of our very generous friends, Caleb and Jen Wojcik.
And Pippa Wojcik.
Let's not forget her. She's a golden doodle.
Star of the show, really.
First of all, Caleb is a very proficient what would you say? Filmmaker?
I don't know. I'm just
videographer.
excited
I'm
for
just
where
saying
you're going
he knows
with this.
a lot about recording things, videos, audio. Very proficient in that. He has a wonderful YouTube channel. Shout out to Caleb. Jen is an amazing photographer. But anyway, they know their gear is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so they have a lot of gear.
Yeah.
So much so that we have jokingly referred to their home as Wojcik Electronics Emporium.
Or we, if you'd like to.
Or we.
Short things like I do.
And so they are always very generous in letting us borrow things, or like if we have a random cable that we can't find. And I don't know, you can maybe speak to how this all came up about us moving locations to...
Well, I think Caleb, being a very good friend of ours, realized how difficult it was for me to be recording our show in our living room where the lighting is incredibly inconsistent, and it would drive anybody who makes videos nuts.
Yeah, so for people who do not edit videos or make videos, tell them why that is so, like, recording at our house where we were before with natural light pouring in, why that's so difficult.
Let me explain it to you.
Okay.
Let me explain it to you. Let me not mansplain it to you.
No.
Electronic explain it to you.
Yes.
It is very difficult if you are a person who likes consistency in video for it to look similar throughout, for it to have like a nice cohesive feel when you don't control the lighting.
Yes.
So while the natural light of our place is wonderful and it's bright and we love it, one cloud goes over and now the cameras that you had all set for a certain type of light is now completely ruined, and then the shot is just completely dark.
Not to mention, like, it can throw off the whole color of a shot.
Yeah. And so you can set the cameras to auto white balance or try to correct some of that, but it's just not fun. And it leads to a lot of discrepancies when you're watching a video. And for most people, they wouldn't care at all. But this boils down to a very important thing for us that we look at in anything we create, is that if we're not proud of it, then we're not going to promote it. We're not going to want to keep doing it. So we have to be proud. So myself specifically, this was bothering me. Caleb, super nice person. They have a guest bedroom in their house that they barely ever use. And they were like, do you want it to be the WAYYY? I don't even know if they brought that name up or where.
Their last name is Wojcik.
Their last name is Wojcik. So that's also, we buried the lead on where the name came from. But so we set up this studio. Again, if you're on YouTube, you can see the art that Caroline created for our backdrop, which
if you follow me on Instagram, you saw the process of that being made.
We grabbed a couple succulent paintings. Carol put the Wandering Aimfully logo on a nice little chalkboard.
So yeah, we wanted to make it nice and homey for you guys. Just kind of dress the set a little bit, give you something nice to look at if you do watch over on YouTube. So that's the first big change. Welcome to the WAYYY.
Welcome to the WAYYY.
The second big change
Does it have a theme song?
Welcome to the WAYYY. We got for days. Look at the WAYYY. Know your names. Great. Hit record. If someone could just mix that up, that'd be great.
Go ahead and turn that into a bestseller. That'd be wonderful.
A bestseller, a song.
Yes,
a bestseller.
yeah,
Okay,
bestseller song.
Sure.
So, second item. Again,
Yes.
if you're not watching YouTube, you won't see this fun little device. However, I can just describe it to you. It is a small blue timer. And it has this little area that turns red when you turn it on. And I'm very excited because we have decided that we know our show has gone a little long-winded.
Yes.
And so we want to be more cognizant of people's time.
Yes.
We also want to get more conversations out there that people can digest a little bit faster.
Yep.
And so having a time restraint, we both love constraints, which we will probably do an episode on, and the power of limitations and putting that on yourself. Because if you have the time, you will fill it. This is called Parkinson's Law. It is a thing. So if you just have this open-ended schedule, guess what? You're going to be long-winded.
Yep.
But if we set a timer, we might be more concise. We might be more thoughtful. And maybe you'll walk away going, oh, I can now listen to like 2 or 3 episodes of you yahoos, and I can get through it.
One interesting thought that I just had is that we were planning on facing it outwards so that everyone else could see it.
Yeah.
We won't be able to see it.
No.
Well, that's hard because then
I know. I'll be able to see it. Well, you
maybe you can look
see
in
on
the
camera.
viewfinder.
That's
That's true. You can
that's
just.
why we got,
Well, I don't have my glasses on.
No, but you can see a big color swipe there.
So the takeaway from this is also, I just want to say, kind of as an aside, is whenever you're making something, yes, you want to start out and make it the way that you have a vision for it in your mind. This is what I always say: is like create from a place of joy, adapt from a place of I forget what the end of it is, but it's like customer feedback basically. Yeah. So start with the vision that you have for the show if you're creating a podcast or something like that. And then listen to feedback. And a lot of the feedback that we got was like, hey guys, I love the show so much. I just can't like make it through the whole thing because it's, some of them were like an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
And we like to chat. And so we started it out because we wanted to like dive deeper into topics and we wanted to be able to go off on tangents and stuff. However, we have learned that we want it to be as valuable as possible for you guys. And so we listened. And so that's where this is coming from as well. So I think that's just a valuable takeaway for anyone creating something in general, which is like, start with what you want it to be, but then don't completely close yourself off to feedback so that you're creating something that nobody then consumes.
Yeah, and we kind of left ourselves open to that feedback. Yeah. So it was like, let's just make this. It's not going to be perfect. We know it's not going to be exactly what we want, but let's see how people digest it, how they like it. And listen, we know that hour-long content on YouTube is very rare that people will watch. Like, I even find myself following people who I like, and when they put an hour-long thing on, I'm like, I don't have time to watch that whole thing. But when they put out something that's like 20 minutes, like I can digest that. I can watch that over lunch or whatever.
Totally.
So that's our goal. That's what we're going to try and do. So we have this fun little timer that if you're on YouTube, you can watch it happen and watch it count down. We mostly won't be able to see it, although I'll probably be able to pay attention to it a little bit.
We have a little viewfinder behind this camera that I'm looking at right now. And sorry for you podcast listeners because you have no idea what I'm doing.
Pointing.
But we have a little viewfinder. So I can just, because I don't have my glasses on, I can just barely see where the red. And so maybe if it's like blurry and I can't see it anymore, that's my, then I know I need to wrap up.
And it has a little chime when it's done. So it will make a noise that we know, hey, it's time to wrap this sucker up.
Ooh, I just realized my straw is going to make noise.
Oh, well, just don't drink it right in front of your microphone and you'll be good to go.
I also have to sneeze.
Oh, interesting. Lots of things going on.
It's just devolving quickly.
All right, well, let's wrap this up then. This is just a little update for you on the new kind of scenario that we're recording in and the new way that we plan on putting these episodes out time-wise. So we hope you enjoy it. We hope you've enjoyed this show. And again, you can always find it on YouTube or on any podcasting app that you listen to. And thank you for listening/watching.
We love your faces.
Thank you, Caleb and Jen. WAYYY.